हामी यस सेकेन्ड नेशनल इन्सुरेन्स डिस्कोर्सका सत्रहरू सुरु गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि हाम्रा छिमेकी मुलुक भारतबाट नेपालमा पाल्नुभएका एकजना निकै नै शिष्ट वक्ता हुनुहुन्छ policybazaar.com का पूर्व कर्पोरेट कम्युनिकेसन हेड हुनुहुन्छ अमन धालज्यू। उहाँ आज यस नेशनल इन्सुरेन्स डिस्कोर्समा पाल्नु भएको छ। उहाँले निकै नै रोमाञ्चक विषयमा आफ्नो कीनोट प्रेजेन्टेसन पनि दिँदै हुनुहुन्छ। ट्रान्सफर्मिङ नेपाल्स इन्सुरेन्स इन्डस्ट्री द इन्डियन प्लेबुक फर स्ट्रेटेजिक कम्युनिकेसन यो विषय नामक प्रेजेन्टेसन उहाँले दिँदै हुनुहुन्छ आज। एन्ड ही विल बी शेयरिङ द की कम्युनिकेसन स्ट्राटेजिज द्याट हेल्प build one of India's leading insurance platforms and how we, Nepal, can apply these learnings to accelerate Nepal's insurance growth as well. I think that'll be very, very important, very insightful and very interesting as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please to join me in welcoming our special keynote speaker, our guest, Mr. Aman Dhall from India, with a big, big round of applause onto the stage.
Namaste, Nepal. Am I audible? I think so. It's always a difficult session to do when all the key dignitaries have already spoken. But I think first of all, I want to thank Rajuji, bankingsamachar, for inviting me to Nepal. This is my second visit to Nepal. And this time I especially took a lot of interest in understanding the whole financial services industry. When I started creating this presentation, I realized there is so much to talk about from an Indian financial services industry, and especially the communication strategies that as an industry we have used over the past few decades. And obviously, since the 90s, a lot of acceleration has happened in the Indian economy thanks to the financial services sector. When I came down here, yesterday, I spoke to a couple of people just to understand what are the sectors general people think Nepal is most strong about. And everyone spoke about hydropower and the travel and tourism industry. It was very surprising. Nobody spoke about the financial services industry. So that was one of the key learnings for me, that while financial services industry, what I understand, contributes immensely to the GDP of Nepal, but the general population doesn't think very highly of the same. But anyways, coming across to my presentation, I'm gonna share what has happened in India over the past few decades and how the communication has evolved, be it from a consumer perspective or from a stakeholder perspective. So I've just divided this presentation into by decades, how the whole communication charter was. And I'm going to conclude on how does the future of communication look like in our own industry. So those who don't know, we have had a major turning point in our economy, which was the LPG policy in the early 90s, thanks to Dr. Manmohan Singh, our late Prime Minister. I think that was the first trigger point for our economy to really take off. And many sectors obviously, reap the benefits, and financial services was one of them. In terms of our communication, it evolved in line with the market growth and the customer needs and the tech advancements that took place. So in India, if you look back, LIC and the GIC companies were the major players in the early 80s and 90s. And this was a time when there was already a conversation around opening the whole sector and getting in private players, which came into in the late 90s and the early 2000s. And if you look at the whole communication strategy of players like LIC, in India, it was built around that building that trust. We are with you when you are here. We are with you even if you are not there. The idea was a lot on claim settlement, that we are there, we will be taking care of your family when you are not there. We pay on time. So this was a whole kind of legacy building exercise done, and the communication was around family. Uh, you know, the TV ads were all about. They were focused on the families. 90s was also about, in India, the rise of the middle class. Uh, this also happened with companies like Infosys becoming a global brand. They are getting listed overseas, and the ITS sector accelerated while they were manufacturing sector, which was contributing to the economy. What it did was, for the insurance companies, the focus became a lot more in terms of education. How can we educate the middle class about the need for insurance? And this was the time when, obviously, we were coming from that era of money back, endowment, saving plans, and it just got accelerated because of the private companies coming in, and they started creating more products. The ULIP came into existence in India. It was also the beginning in the late 2000 around the term insurance plan. While it was existing, it was not marketed very heavily. And it also was to do with the fact, how the agency channel kind of developed. And I think what I've learned is also the agency channel is pretty strong here in Nepal as well. Uh, if you look at what happened during that time was, in India, the entrance of players like iPru, Bajaj, HDFC. They were trying to kind of simplify insurance. They were kind of doing more emotional storytelling. It was always about that emotional storytelling, so that consumers can buy a product with the uh, with the confidence that they will be kind of taken care, their families will be taken care when they are not around. And also, how can my money grow? When the ULIPs came into existence, it was about how can we make, we are kind of putting money into insurance. You don't get that much money back. So how can that money be accelerated? How can that investment grow? So actually, insurance became more investment, which was already there, but it kind of became even more between 19 and early 2000. And also the bank assurance channel kind of got accelerated. There was much more work happening in that sector. In 2008 or so, Policybazaar came into existence. It started with the whole idea of what the travel industry went through, where there was an aggregators like Make My Trip, or globally it was like e-bookers who came into existence and kind of made things easier for anyone who is looking to buy a flight ticket and kind of have a comparison. And the same philosophy, they started Policybazaar. Okay, we will have a platform where we will put all the insurance policies, let people decide what do they want to buy basis different features. And around 2011 to 14 is when they kind of started getting a lot more acceptance. Their acceptance was not easy. Uh, the larger players didn't know how to kind of react to a aggregator platform. And their major success came via uh, tying up with new age insurers who were also kind of, trying to penetrate in the market. So the likes of Aegon, the likes of new players like Future Generali, who were trying to penetrate into the market, and they were looking for different ways to sell their product. And that's where they kind of started investing in digital platforms or tying up or having those partnerships. They believe that is the future. And what did kind of Policybazaar do was became much more, they did go much more deeper into the storytelling. around why they need to compare. So the whole story around that time for them revolved around compare, buy, save. That was their tagline. And the idea was if you come and compare, you're more likely to save. You're more likely to take a more better choice in terms of what you're trying to buy. Also, while they were a pure online platform, they were backed by a call center. Insurance is not an easy purchase. People really want to go deeper into understanding what it all entails, what does different features mean for a consumer. So they were also backed a lot by a huge team of advisors who were kind of guiding the customers and in terms of what does this policy entail when a claim happens. And that confidence needs to build because anytime you pay money, especially around a banking product, a consumer wants to really kind of have that confidence. And that confidence was already existing with the larger players like uh, LIC, the old legacy players. So for the newer players, it was more about kind of how can they kind of build that confidence that what they are providing to the consumers has is a better product for them and uh, is more suitable for their future growth and kind of protection. So also, this was also the time when insurance started doing the job of insurance. Insurance, unfortunately, became more investment. It started with the whole idea of protection, but became more investment. But this was the time when the Indian whole insurance landscape started pivoting to insurance is equal to protection. And this was also because the penetration of more companies who started investing deeper into marketing communications, why health insurance is important for your family, why you should buy beyond the corporate cover being given to you. So there was a lot of storytelling happening through different mediums, but the whole idea was insurance started tilting back to protection from investment. As we speak, obviously, LIC's market share in India has gone down, but obviously the market has expanded a lot. Newer players have come in. Earlier, a certain kind of people were only buying insurance. In fact, health insurance was hardly sold in India till late 2000. And now, if you look at it, that penetration has really gone up. But India is a huge country, still a huge scope. Even like now, there are government schemes now which kind of are providing to a certain strata of society uh, insurance through the Prime Minister's initiative. But from a social security perspective, from a uh, building that self-reliant approach to building social security for the middle class, this whole shift around protection has really, really worked very well. So like uh, this whole industry is very serious industry, and especially when you are kind of uh, trying to tell someone that if if you die, your family will be taken care of. Death is a very serious subject. Death is a very serious subject, and Policybazaar tried to kind of do their communication in different ways through different mediums, and they did take a humorous approach. They felt, if we kind of, anyways, this subject is very, very serious. How can we kind of make it more easy for a consumer to understand and have that humorous take? And we roped in a lot of brand ambassadors from Kapil Sharma to Akshay Kumar, had that funny take, yet had a serious tone around it. That Ullu mat bano. Uh, if you don't compare, you can become a fool. So those kind of communication strategies we adopted. And what has happened now in the 2020s, especially around this whole industry, is that it has become more and more digital first, and lot of influencer have been kind of uh, We have used a lot of influencers to kind of do our communication, who are the new age influencers. So while there was a lot of celebrity usage earlier, a lot of print first or electronic first communication policies, it has started becoming more digital first, and kind of, if it was 10 or 15%, it has become like 30 to 40%. And that's the kind of acceleration is what COVID-19 has done. And what it was also kind of realized was that influencers, investing in the micro influencers is what people can relate to. So if you look at again like the campaigns today, uh, we are also kind of trying to now touch upon women a lot more. We feel that uh, women have started like, there are more women now in the workforce in India. They have been always kind of looked upon as the family caretakers, and their kind of uh, rise as a person who is contributing to the household, their rise as a somebody who can take financial decision making is what now a lot of companies are now investing in. So earlier, say if we were looking as a target audience, somebody who was like the male head of the family, now in 2020s, a lot more campaigns are targeted towards women. So there is also kind of one, they are buying for themselves. Secondly, they are now also advising families on what they should buy. So they say that, the women is like, they take more all-round opinions before buying any kind of a product. And also kind of male are trusting them with such kind of decision making more. And that's where campaigns are also moving slowly. They realize, okay, this is 5 to 10%, this can go bigger. And if we go back to 2010, 2000, it was also like a lot of campaigns around children, child plans. While they were a mix of endowment or ULIP plans, a lot of focus in the communication was also around, how can you have a secure future for your child. But how the whole landscape is moving in India is mostly around protection, while it is becoming now a healthy mix of protection plus investment. Also, if you look at a ULIP, while they had a bad name in India in 2008, the market tanked at that time. Uh, Today, the product is far superior, even superior than a mutual fund. They're using the same fund managers to put money and grow it, but also they are kind of also offering a little bit of insurance. So uh, it's a healthy mix of product portfolio in India right now, and obviously communication touchpoint is across all the products. But how things are evolving in India, especially uh, insurance, which was supposed to do the job of protection, is where things are moving in India. And when I kind of spoke to people here, what I can understand is right now in Nepal, it's more around investment. It's also because of the uh, agency, that's how kind of the agency model, I think, contributes more than 90 to 95% of the income. And it's very difficult to move the market because they're used to certain products. They might have better incentives in selling that. And I think that disruption takes place in any economy. The newer ways come in, the newer platforms come in, who will try to kind of move the economy uh, to the next line of production. I think uh, Nepal, the kind of economy it carries, whatever limited exposure and experience I've had, I see a lot of scope here in terms of that movement. Uh, and I think it depends also on the stakeholders on how they want to kind of take this forward. So if you look at kind of in India, this is what the major communication touchpoint has been. So 90s was about building trust that there is a product, invest in this, it'll take care of your family. To becoming education, because the private insurers came, they came with more products. So it was more about education, why this product is better for you. Then it became personalization. How can I have more hyper personalization around the consumer? Then it went to now the technology and ESG, which is more around purpose driven. How can the whole communication be more purpose driven? How it is not only building, how it is not only protecting your family, but it is also kind of is good for the society. So there's a larger communication storytelling that is happening. Uh, Emotional storytelling is still what is majority of the communication, but also it's also around a lot of numbers. Uh, so if you look at a term insurance ad in India, it'll be more about in only say 10,000 rupees, you can get a 1 crore cover. And that's like 100x of what you are paying. And also kind of a lot of fact-driven stories around how, say, an endowment product where in a 10,000 product, maybe you get 1 lakh insurance. That's not enough to take care of your family when you're not there. But say a 1 crore product can take care of your family for 10 to 15 years. So a lot of data-driven storytelling has happened through the media. Media has played a big part in that. And from a advertising perspective, it has been more around emotional, some humor, some numbers. So it's a mix of stuff. But as I mentioned again, uh, the ads that people can relate to are more around protection now, not around investments. And that's a major shift that is happening. A lot more AI has come into the picture. Uh, Constant innovation is happening from a communication touch point. Uh, Apps are able to kind of give you quick, if you have any query, uh, there is a quick response to the same, and AI is being used more proactively now for customer service, more than customer acquisition, while there are certain touch points where we are using AI or typical forms to kind of have that acquisition. And also because in India, uh, we have we are far ahead in terms of KYC and a lot of things, and further innovation is happening where I can see, when I was kind of listening, obviously a lot of conversation happening with Nepalese, what I could hear was high interest rates here, premium is high. I could listen to, I think there are also KYC can become better. Those are the couple of things I can kind of hear. Uh, but in India, it's more about instant issuance. Also on the claim front, what is happening is in the hospitals, there are more now kind of people who are not only TPAs but also others who can support the family, especially on the health insurance side. Uh, Even on the B2B side, a lot more platforms have come in wherever there is a instant purchase, where there is the underwriting is smaller. They are focusing a lot more on the platforms rather than uh, that somebody is going, explaining, then it is taking a turnaround time of 2 to 3 months for someone to buy a policy. So a lot more kind of, even on the B2B side, a lot more platforms have come in and they're trying to kind of put more information on the platforms. And I think the best part about, also I think another communication uh, we use a lot in our, be it communicating through media or otherwise, was uh, when somebody talks to you, when somebody talks to you, they can kind of, the facts can be here and there. But when somebody writes, they have to be factual, otherwise a regulator can penalize them. They can be held accountable for the same. A lot of communication to also the consumer was always go by facts, be it on the policy, be it on any platform. You are more likely to get what you are trying to buy. But when you are talking to someone, there is more likely someone can missell. And I think what I've heard again here is that bank assurance channel had a ban, and I think, in India also we had gone through that whole phase of mis-selling, a lot of restrictions, and this all happened in, I think, the early 2000s, and this was around the market crash down in 2008 and all. So somewhere I feel that Nepal of today is somewhere India of 2008-10, which is trying to kind of break through now with these digital platforms coming in. But I think the acceleration can happen much faster because I think the digital adoption is also much faster among the masses here. I think what is also happening is across the globe, the digital adoption is accelerated. Even if the digital platforms have not kind of penetrated in any market. So I think the future of insurance communication, at least in India, looks like this. While there will be AI and chatbots, they will be assisted by humans. In terms of where AI cannot answer, there will always be people. As AI becomes more smarter, humans will be doing more roles where they are more productive. I think more society-driven narratives will come into the picture in the next 5 to 10 years in India, at least, the way things are right now. Because now people know about term insurance. If you ask anyone, especially in the middle class, everyone will know about term insurance. Everyone will say health insurance is important. Now the conversation is about not 5 lakh cover. It's about a 1 crore health cover. And in term insurance, it's not about a 1 crore cover. It's about okay, I need to have 15x of my income or 12x of my income, current income, or how much should I buy? So they have already got that education. They already have that access. Now it's more about how it helps them or the society. I think I'll just end with this, that while technology will keep upgrading itself, I think human touch will be required in any field, be it in communication. However, having said that, I think what technology or what digital does is it has you have a proof which again a human conversation cannot provide. So I'll say future will be all about, while humans will be used for more effective storytelling, technology will play an enabler in accelerating insurance adoption, especially around the core for which insurance was created, protection. Thank you so very much.